Welcome back to the Source Garage. Sam here, and I'm doing what everybody loves to do on their Sundays, is design prototype wheel stands, right? So I've spent most of this morning designing this new wheel stand prototype after getting some more of these out into some people's hands and getting some more feedback on the different design features and some possible improvements in manufacturing and removing some of the, I'll call it fluff, to these processes. So this is what I've come up with today. So I'm just going to walk through everything that this one is, that this one isn't, and hopefully get some feedback on what's good, what's bad, and some ideas for improvement. So this one I tried to make way more easy to assemble. Well, this one you didn't really have to assemble other than the one rod going into place. You do actually have to assemble this one, but I've cut out a lot of the welding time. It'll be easier to ship. It's slightly smaller. It'll be more collapsible. So to that point, biggest difference, this hinge in the middle here. So this allows the whole stand just to, if I take the pin out here, collapse forward, right? So now you just collapse it. You can throw it up on a shelf, throw it under a cabinet, whatever. Much faster, much easier. I'm sure you're seeing all the wobble in this hinge. This thing is a piece of junk. It is way too thin and cannot support this, so I will definitely be going to find something better, but just a proof of concept that this would work. And there's one little bracket on the back to help hold it in place. I'm also thinking about putting some kind of, I don't know, like a rubber stop back here, so it's kind of a pressure fit. So that way I don't like this wobbling. Even on this one, like there's just a little bit of it. I'm trying to eliminate it entirely if I can. Even a little bit, it doesn't affect the use of it, but it doesn't look good. If you hear something vibrate while you're using it, you don't like that. So beyond the hinge, well, you can also probably see the roller angle here. So the roller is now offset by 1 inch leaning forward. And the reason for that is, so if you have a tire that is, I'll say the rim is not completely like flush with the wheel, or for whatever reason it's some funky rim design that's sticking out, the rim can rub right on here and take the paint off. Obviously metal on metal is just rubbing the paint right off. So if you were using a wheel like that, you'd have to be conscious enough to lean the wheel back more, or to position it so that the rim's not rubbing on that. So to try and make that easier to do or just eliminate it altogether, I've angled this roller forward, so that way we try and, if you think of the edge of a tire here, I'm trying to catch the top rubber of the tire, so that way there's no way the rim can hit on here. So that's what this offset angle forward is for, to help with that. On the back piece, I also got rid of the handle up here. The reason the handle is on there is so you could easily just pick it up. So it's easier to move around. If it's on the floor or something, you can grab it easier. But it just adds extra work to the process, right? It's another thing I have to weld 4 spots on. It's an extra cap. It's another cut, more grinding. So I just got rid of that on here so I could just slap a cap on it and call it a day. That will definitely save some time. So that's everything with the back here. Oh, I also made it 2 inches shorter to help with shipping. So that way we can fit in a more standard size box as well. But I don't think it's going to affect functionality at all unless you're using some gigantic tire. So that's everything with the back. So onto the base. So I said everything was bolt together. So these are now bolted on. So you can see there's bolts on the bottom of all of these. So instead of me having to take the time to try and weld all of these in 3 spots so they're indestructible, can't be removed, we're just going to use 1 bolt now. It's plenty sufficient. It's easier on the manufacturing process, so I can keep the cost down. You can assemble it yourself and break it down if you want to. So literally, I'll just unscrew this real quick. So these are just hand tightened right now because I just put it together. So this will completely collapse down, come back up. One thing I never actually showed in the original video I didn't think about is how these rollers come out. So the shafts are just spring loaded. So you pull on one end of them and they will come right out. So now that I put this back up and back on the same way, stick this back in the hole here, pull back on it, and then line up and let it through. So all these work the same way, so the rollers easily pop out. And so you would bolt all these together. The hinge here, obviously, you see the 2 bolts. I'm not sure what that will look like on the final design. That was just for this example. What else did I change? Oh, the angle of the rollers, yeah. So these, on this one, they were parallel to each other. On this, they're angled slightly in. I don't know if you'll be able to see this on camera so much. It's really just slightly angled in. And that's to help if anyone was seeing walking at all of the tire. This should make it walk backwards, if anything, and towards this, but just very slightly so it's not running off the end, which I don't think I've actually seen yet, but it doesn't look good if it does start even wiggling forward at all, right? It's again a user thing. You don't want to see it even though if it's not actually going to run off. I think that pretty much covers it. I don't think I've changed anything else. You can see it's like a stirring spoon handle here. This hinge is so flimsy, but it was all they had that fit my needs for right now. So yeah, that's it. I just wanted to give an update on this new design, and as it almost falls here, geez. So let me know if this makes sense, if it seems better. Again, I'm doing all this to try and bring the cost down from what this is, because it does take so much work to put this one together. This would be easier to do and cheaper to manufacture, cheaper to ship, all that. Let me know if there's any more design suggestions, other things I can try out. I'm just putting this out there to keep an update on what I'm trying to do. I think it's more interesting to put the design out and get feedback as I go along. So I'm going to continue to do that as I keep going through and messing with things and prototyping stuff. So hopefully you see some of the other tests we got going on the channel, but let me know if you have any feedback for this, and thanks for watching.